Start. Okay, so after completing the of set theory and functions, now we have to begin with the most important topic in this course is calculus, to begin with differential calculus. Now we have mentioned many times in the class that differential calculus is a branch of mathematics which was invented by Newton, and it was not the purpose of inventing was not to have a branch of mathematics, but purpose of inventing was to solve the physics problems. And Newton was the person who found that mathematics which was developed till then was not sufficient to take care of the physics problems which he wanted to solve. So he wanted to solve physics problems, but he did not have sufficient tools to solve those problems. Mathematical tools were not available, and hence he invented this branch. Why is Om Sony getting entered? He's 12th standard student. I mean, okay. So it is important to understand the concept and the thought process that he has applied to this whole idea of calculus and how he could actually solve the problems eventually. The problems which other mathematics, the mathematics before calculus cannot solve, how Newton ensured that these problems can be solved using the new techniques, the new methods, those were defined and developed by him. I must have given several times the example of what is the value of x square minus 4 upon x minus 2 at x is equal to 2. Suppose the function f of x is if the function f of x is श्रेयन श्रेयन आपल्या वर्गातच आहे ना.
नाही सर.
अरे श्रेयन पण काय ऍडमिट होतोय, त्यांना दोघांना आत घेतो आणि मग सांगतो त्यांना. Okay, so if f of x is equal to x square minus 4 upon x minus 2, then what is f of 2? That is the question. Suppose, I mean, I'm just giving you a simple example to understand why the maths before calculus cannot solve this problem and why maths after calculus will be able to solve the problem. This is a classic example. Now, the moment this problem is given to us, we say f of x is equal to x square minus 4 upon x minus 2. We say that in the domain of definition of f of x is equal to 2 is absent. If x is equal to 2 is present in the domain of definition of f of x, then the function is not defined. Then the function is illegal. We cannot find out the value of f of x at x is equal to 2. That has been the approach which we have been taking, which is correct if we do not have calculus with us. However, after calculus, we will be able to say that the value of function at 2 I cannot give. This will continue to remain same. I mean, we are not saying that we are scrapping the old theory of algebra or theory of mathematics that we have developed. This is still undefined. There is no 2 in the domain of definition of f of x. We are not including 2 in the domain. It continues to remain undefined. But then what the approach after calculus that we are taking is f of 2 minus is equal to f of 2 plus is equal to 4. We are saying that the value of this function is eventually going to be equal to 4. Will it be 4 at x is equal to 2? No, because x is equal to 2 is not there in the domain. You cannot evaluate the function at x is equal to 2. Okay, fair enough. I cannot do it. Understood, respected. Can I do it near to the left of 2, to the right of 2? Yeah, of course you can do. You cannot do it at 2, but you can do it everywhere else in real numbers. That is the meaning of this function. You can evaluate the function everywhere else except at 2. Now, if we geometrically look at this function, it is a straight line with slope 1 passing through 2. And you are supposed to evaluate what is this function. And there is a hollow circle here. At x is equal to 2, you have a hollow circle. So entire x-axis is available for this function. I mean, it is straight line. Entire x-axis is available. Is not available. Hollow circle at 2, and therefore value of the function at 2 is not available. And therefore, what Newton is doing is he's saying, okay, I am not evaluating the function at 2, but can I evaluate to the left of 2? Can I evaluate to the right of 2? And if I am getting practically very, very near to 4 every time, I will say from 2 it is equal to 4. And it is not said that f of 2 is equal to 4 in this way. We have to have a different notation to say that f of 2 or the value of the function near 2 are equal to 4. The new notation he has created is limit as x tends to 2, f of x is equal to 4. Just understand the difference between these two. This is legally correct statement because of the new definitions that we are going to create. And this is always undefined. So again, while developing a new theory, enough respect is given to the old theory which is already being developed. We are not saying that that theory is bad, wrong or bad, or let us scrap it. We will say that yes, that theory is correct at that point, but now we want to do something else, some more things, and therefore we need some extra theory, and therefore we will create this kind of notation. Okay, so for all practical purposes, this is a pure algebra. X minus 2 into x minus plus 2 upon x minus 2. So f of x was actually equal to x plus 2. But then if I write f of x is equal to x plus 2, I need not have to worry about this 2, and I need not have to worry about value of the function at 2, because this is good. This is evaluated. This is evaluated at every point on x-axis. The entire real number is a domain of this function. And therefore, we don't have problem with this. We do have problem with this at one point. And if I make denominator product of few x minus alphas, then at those many alphas, we have problem in the denominator. They are undefined. And there are more than one ways of getting the function undefined. Right? And therefore, essentially, this kind of problem. Now, this is simple algebraic problem. And if you notice that if we directly plug x is equal to 2 in this expression, we end up getting this as 0 upon 0, and that is why it is interesting. If it was 5 upon 0, I mean, it is a huge quantity. We know that this is a big number. If it was 0 upon 5, we know that this is very, very small number is equal to 0. So these two answers are already available. I mean, answer for this is not a real number answer, but conceptually, we know what this is. Conceptually, we know what this is. But when it comes to 0 upon 0, it is not 1, it is not 0, nor it is infinity. I mean, that 0 is troubling us. It is present in the numerator as well as in the denominator. So if we apply this, it tells us that this is a big number, but actually it is not, because unless you have a finite number in the numerator, you cannot predict about 0 in the denominator, what it is, whether it is a too big number or a too small number. If you have minus 2 upon 0, then it is a too small number, right? If we give importance to the 0 in the numerator, then we cannot say that this ratio is 0, because we do not know what denominator is. If denominator is a finite number, then it is 0. If we say that same quantity in the numerator and denominator, they get cancelled with each other, and therefore this is equal to 1, that is 100% wrong, because we just cannot cancel them, and we have learned while learning complex numbers inverse, multiplicative identity and multiplicative inverse. So we just cannot cancel them and say that this is equal to 1. Actually, therefore, this is indeterminate. Indeterminate form, and there are a couple of more indeterminate forms which we have to address while learning this calculus. And if we could address all the indeterminate forms, then we are done. See, it is not going to happen that every time you will have a solution to your problem. Now, this was a good problem where Newton said, okay, amongst the all bad problems according to the mathematics before calculus, this is also supposed to be a bad problem, because it has got 0 in the denominator. 0 at 0 it is undefined. So this is a bad problem before calculus, and there are infinitely many bad problems before calculus. Newton is not saying that I will have a solution to every bad problem before calculus. Newton is saying that there could be some good bad problems before calculus for which the answers will exist, and those answers, if we could find out and take our theory ahead, it will be very, very beneficial. And that is why we wish to develop this theory. Okay, so the first idea of this new theory is the limiting concept notation, and therefore we will spend good amount of time on creating those definitions and understanding them. Okay, सगळे आहेत जागे बोलते राजवर्धन ठीक. Okay, so now a question. This is going to be a very long recording, because almost I will be talking throughout the lecture and you will be listening. Anyway, suppose we have a building, say 11-storied building. I mean, there is a building here, and these are the balconies. And on the 11th floor, a person is standing. Say now, Osama bin Laden is standing here, and you are aware that every day at a specific time that gentleman comes out in a balcony. Exact time you know, how he stands you know, and he is there for a couple of minutes, and then he goes inside. Maybe he is talking on phone, आत घरात रेंज येत नसेल म्हणून बाहेर येत असेल, जे काय असेल, व्हॉट. ओके, हे मी तुम्हाला पूर्वी सांगितलंय का? कधी नाही. तर तीच स्टोरी दरवर्षी सांगतो मी. पूर्वी सांगितलेली असेल आणि मग तुम्ही म्हणाल सरांच्या लक्षात राहत नाही, आता सर म्हातारे झाले. एनिवे, ओके, सो इथे थांबलेलं. नाव ॲज आय सेड, ही इज अ bad person for humanity, and therefore far away. I mean, you are not this. We have got a whiteboard limitation, therefore I am sketching it here, and you are standing here. Okay, and you have been given an assignment. You have been given an assignment to adjust your rifle in such a way. All the technologies are available. You can adjust it, whatever degree, projectile motion, weight, etc. All calculations are in place. There are many people who can do that calculation. However, there will be very few who will take up a responsibility of going in the field and killing this person. Okay, so now let me make this. You understand this distance is few kilometers from here to here, but we have limitations of our whiteboard. Therefore, I zoom his face. So his face is suppose looking like this, and he is a person with some beard. Okay, specs, should look like a bad person. Okay, and if we want him to be still better, we can have a pipe with some smoke coming out. Okay, now is he looking bad person? Yes. Let us have his live. Tick. Now, so you are required to hit exactly at this point. I mean, I'm drawing a point with a circle because you should know it. Yeah, unless and until you hit him here at a specific point, and you have been given a gun like this. You have been given a gun looking like this, and you can adjust. There is a protractor on which degree markings are there. Okay, understand this? And there is a ghoda which you should pull. You understand ghoda? Okay. This ghoda you are supposed to pull, and then this bullet will go and hit him here, and he will be killed. Do you understand the mechanism? Yes. So the job given to you is to adjust that protractor and angle by doing required calculations, etc., weight, etc. Calculate the distance between two, use some trigonometry, complex number, whatever you have learned. You are not allowed to use calculus because that is what we are learning. We have not proved anything yet in calculus. So you have to use mathematics, which you know by now, and adjust the gun and pull the trigger. एक मिनट दाबते आते ईशा okay, so that's given to you. So this is the job. Now the question is, as a student of mathematics, will you take up this responsibility? You will be given huge money. I mean, you need not have to work. You need not have to study for 6 hours. You need not have to listen to such a difficult maths, physics, chemistry lectures 5 hours every day. No self-study. No, you can do whatever you want in rest of your life along with your family. No issue. Even if you decide to marry today, it is okay. No problem. You have a lot of money with you. Everything is fine. So the job is only to adjust the gun and kill the person. Will you take up this responsibility? I pause the video, you think? I pause record. Now, after thinking a lot, we realize that if we do all the calculations correct, then this should be doable job. This should be doable job. But now let me disclose the answer. It is impossible task. You cannot achieve it if you are supposed to hit at a point, a specific point. Why? Because hitting that specific point probabilistically is impossible event. It is not possible event because there are infinitely many points there and you are supposed to hit only one point amongst those infinitely many points. Therefore, actually it is 1 upon infinity and therefore it is 0. Right? So by calculations, the probability of hitting that point is actually 0. It is as good as saying that if I have a chocolate and I want to distribute it not in our class but amongst the population on this planet, without cutting that particular chocolate, if I want to give it to somebody, I mean, how much is the probability that you will get it as an individual? It is practically 0. It is almost impossible. In that case, still it is finite upon finite, and still, therefore, there is some finite value of probability. Favorable is at least 1, and total is some. If it is a population of India, then it is divided by 130 crores. It's a finite number. And therefore, there will be multiplied by 100. If we do, there will be some number which will be your probability of you getting chocolate. Probabilistically, it is very close to 0, but it is not equal to 0. However, here, if you want to put it over here exactly at a point, then it is practically impossible. But then, when will it become possible? If I say you hit it in the radius of 1 centimeter, around that point, that is acceptable. But if you miss that circle of radius 1 centimeter, then you are gone. Now we can take up that responsibility. It is not going to be easy, but we can do something about it. So instead of at a point, if I give you something like this, if you hit somewhere here, it is okay, then yes. At point, no. In classroom, normally I give the example of, suppose we are making a new classroom and I want to make benches. Our size of the bench is 3 feet. Suppose I go to the carpenter and ask him to make a bench of 3 feet, exact 3 feet. Exact 3 feet, he may say, no, it is not possible to make. But still I insist, no, I want all the benches of exactly same size, 3 feet each. They should look like a vertical column, exactly no change in their lengths, etc. Then he may say, yes, okay, I will try to make them reasonably accurate length, but one bench will cost 1 lakh rupees. How many you want? I want 40 lakh rupees. Then I will say, oh, bapre. I mean, cost of classroom is 10 lakh and cost of benches going to be 40 lakhs. That is not good. So, okay, I have to check my specifications. Then I will go back and tell him, okay, if you cannot produce the bench exactly of 3 feet length, fair enough. What best you can do? Then he will ask me, what is your budget? I will say I can pay 5,000 rupees only for one, not more than that. Then he will say, okay, let us say 3 feet is equal to 100 centimeters, 1 meter bench, 100 centimeters. Then he will say, okay, I will supply you the bench between 100 and 1 centimeters to 99 centimeters. The bench that I will supply will have length between 99 to 101 centimeters. If I give you a bench which is less than 99 centimeter length, you can reject it. If I give you a bench which is more than 101 centimeter length, you can reject it. And then the cost of each bench is going to be equal to 5,000 rupees. Then we say, yes, okay, deal is done, supply me. And you end up getting all those benches. They will almost look alike for all practical purposes. But the moment I say my accuracy is plus minus 1 centimeter, The cost comes down from 1 lakh rupees per bench to 5,000 rupees per bench. Do you understand this example? Yes. Now let me give you the second example.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in the previous problem, sir, of
Yes.
hitting with a bullet.
Yes.
So you said that probability will be 1 by infinity. But sir, that would be if we were to randomly hit the bullet, right? But here we are calculating and hitting at a specific point, right? So how is it 1 by infinity?
Okay, so maybe it is a probability problem which we should discuss end of the course. But anyway, now see there are many variables operating on that. If you do calculations using projectile motion, that is a you are considering few variables and taking those variables and doing the calculation. But there are so many other variables which are actually acting on that function, which will not give you exact output that you deserve. Maybe there is a wind, there is no wind. There is a temperature, you assume 35 degrees centigrade and actually it is 20 degrees centigrade. There is a effect of temperature, there is a effect of wind, there is a effect of humidity during, then every bullet is, we say that every bullet is same, therefore you have assumed one bullet and calculated, but the other bullet has got 10 micrograms weight, little less or little more. So there are so many. While adjusting the protractor, every individual will adjust it little differently depending upon the eyesight that you have. So there are more than one
Yes, sir.
variables by which you are not going to get hit the target, but you will hit the target around the target, around the specific point. And how many specific points are there around it? Infinitely many. No matter whether we consider the circle of 1 centimeter radius or 1 millimeter radius, there are infinitely many points around that specific point. And therefore, the favorable upon total will bound to be going to be finite upon infinite, makes it 0. Okay,
Yes, sir.
I adjusted it in ideal conditions, it will happen. Okay, in ideal conditions, it will happen. Now, this last mission of sending something to last mission of ISRO was failed. I mean, it has not landed in the last 5 minutes. That particular thing did not happen. All the calculations were in place. Everything was done. I mean, you can imagine what kind of calculations, etc. these guys must be doing before launching something over there. But something different happened, which this could not identify, anticipate, and that mission was not successful. So there are always going to be surprises. There are always going to be the elements which will make your probabilistic chances of, I mean, see, now we are saying that if you maintain your percentage between 50, between 47 to 53 throughout all our internal exams, your rank is going to be less than 3,000. Suppose I make this statement. But then, yes, that is true. But then finally, on that particular day, what do you do? What do you eat? What I mean is your health all right? How many hours you have slept in that night? How paper is difficult? Whether your computer is operating or not? How much supervisor is disturbing you? How much your student sitting next to you is disturbing you? There are so many unknown parameters which are going to be directly affecting your performance. And still majority of you guys will maintain your percentage. So by and large it will be true, but hitting it exactly at that point is not going to be possible. I mean to say, probabilistically, when the denominator is too big, it is almost 0. That is what was the meaning. So in this also, in this circle which I have drawn here has got infinitely many points, and amongst them one center specific is 1. So suppose it was infinite upon infinite, then it could be finite probability. But presently I am saying that it has to be hit at a specific point. then it is almost impossible event. It is not almost impossible event, it is impossible. Okay, so I have given you an example of a bench which was of 1 meter length and 1 centimeter plus minus accuracy was acceptable. Now let me give you another example. Suppose I am in the business of making machines which are used for brain surgery, surgery of brain. There is some, suppose a patient is there and there are some dead cells inside the brain at a specific point, and our all three-dimensional geometry study that we have done will be very useful. There will be a model of his face, head, etc. will be done. 3D geometry will be in place, and computers will locate how much in X direction, how much in Y direction, and how much in Z direction. If the gentleman is sitting like this, where exactly are those dead cells available in his brain, which we are supposed to remove it. The doctor, surgeon will remove them, and then the patient will be all right. Okay, that is the task, and I am in the process of manufacturing those machines. Okay, so when it comes to this, of course, you are supposed to drill a hole. The hole needs to be drilled where the distance is minimum. You have been finding out what is the minimum distance of this line from parabola, this line from hyperbola, etc. I mean, all those have physical applications. All those things which we are doing have physical applications. Now, suppose XYZ coordinates of brain are available, which is the point, nearest point through which we are supposed to drill a hole, reach that point and suck the dead cells out by using the vacuum. That is what is the method of surgery. So now it is a decision of the surgeon to specifically decide which particular point. I mean, if the cells are here, we cannot drill a hole here. I mean, unnecessarily we will be going through. So it has to be a nearest point, minimum damage point. Okay, and therefore now suppose the doctor comes to me and says I am supposed to drill a hole and the hole size should be 5 millimeters, 5 millimeters or little, I mean still, okay, 5 millimeters is fine, 5 millimeters. I will say that okay, if you want drill size to be 5 millimeters and the location of drill as specified by you within plus minus 1 millimeter accuracy, then the cost of the machine is going to be say 50 lakhs. Okay, but if you want the machine which will give you the specific location that you specify in the error of 0.1 millimeter instead of 1 millimeter error, suppose 0.1 millimeter error, if you want that machine, maybe it will cost 5 crores. Machine which will give me accuracy of 1 millimeter is 50 lakhs, and the machine which will give me accuracy of 0.1 millimeter, suppose it is 5 crores. I am sure the doctor will buy the one which is 5 crores, not the 50 lakhs. Do you understand the application difference? The higher the accuracy in the medical instrument, medical equipment, it is better. It does not matter if it costs more. Therefore, I will go for it. But for making bench, if it is 5,000 versus 1 lakhs, it is unnecessary. So hitting a specific point here is impossible. Getting a drilling done at a specific point is impossible. How much are you allowing me to go here and there? 0.1 millimeter, very good. Can I do it 0.01 millimeter? Oh, very fine, no problem. But will there be some error? Yes. So that is the first thing of calculus that we need to understand, that we should be ready for compromise. We cannot achieve the perfection. and it is the lesson for your life. Mathematics so far have been talking about if there is a one counter example, the statement cannot be called theorem. Correct? Mathematical standpoint, it is correct. You cannot afford to have one counter example. Every time it has to be. That is what mathematics has taught us. That is what mathematics before calculus has discussed with us, and which is correct. We are very happy about it because it is straightforward. Once decided, it is decided. No ambiguity. It takes less time to understand. Because if suppose sometime it is like this and some other time it is like this, then there is a confusion. I am aware that in chemistry there are some things, sometimes you have to think it in this direction, then that is correct answer. And equivalent thing, some other place you have to think in the other direction, then it is the correct. These situations in chemistry where असं काय नाही असं असतं म्हणून हे असं असं असतं कारण कारण in real life that is true. What end point is true in real life. आणि म्हणून तुम्ही हे जर असेल बेन्झिन असेल तर असा विचार करायला पाहिजे, टोल्यून असेल तर असा विचार करायला पाहिजे. अरे काय प्रॉब्लेम काय आहे? मॅथ्समध्ये असं नाही. मॅथ्समध्ये एका प्रश्नाला एकच उत्तर असणार, आयदर बरोबर किंवा चुकीचं. चुकीची 100 उत्तरं असतील पण बरोबर एकच उत्तर असणार. कोण सोडवतंय त्याला महत्व नाही. कोण सोडवतंय त्याला महत्व नाही. अगदी ज्याला काही येत नसेल त्याने सुद्धा ते गणित सोडवलं आणि उत्तर बरोबर काढलं तर ते उत्तर बरोबर. आणि एखादा मॅथमॅटिशियनने ते गणित सोडवलं आणि उत्तर काढलं, तेच उत्तर काढलं तरी ते उत्तर बरोबर. फरक नाही दोघांमध्ये. डू यू अंडरस्टँड? That is why mathematics is interesting. That is why those who like logic like mathematics. Once thought finished, once notation created, finished. One statement is proved, it is theorem, it's true, going to be true every time. However, now what we are trying to discuss is that perfection is impossible. You cannot achieve it. You have to be tolerant. You have to have tolerances. You will create errors. You have to create errors within the limits that you are allowed to do. You will have least counts. You will have to measure things. You will make errors while measuring. Your instruments will be having errors. And errors of instruments are called least count. Least count itself is an error induced in that instrument. And therefore, everything that we use is assumption. I mean, in 8th standard we have discussed this. We cannot draw line. We cannot draw point. Because if we start drawing point, we are drawing cluster of points. We are not drawing a point. And therefore, there also we did compromise. We compromised in drawing straight line. We compromised in drawing circle. And therefore, compromise is going to be part of our life. So if you want to achieve a specific point, if you want to achieve a specific value, it is impossible. So every time you want to achieve something, you have to give what is the tolerance. What is the tolerance? Now I will give you one more example and then we get into our mathematics. The example is of internal combustion engine. The engine on which all our vehicles run. So I am sure you must have learned something about it, but briefly what happens is the fuel is injected in a chamber, spark plug produces the spark, the fuel and that spark creates explosion, explosion creates pressure inside that chamber. Because of pressure, the piston is pushed back. Piston is pushed against the spring. Then the valve opens, the pressure is released. The moment pressure is pressure inside the chamber is less than the spring pressure, the piston comes back. Again fuel is injected, spark is produced, explosion takes place, pressure increases, piston goes back, right? So this is internal combustion engine. Let me draw it. There is a piston. There is a chamber. This is the chamber. Fuel is injected. A spark plug produces the spark. An explosion takes place here. Okay. There is a spring which is put here. Explosion in this chamber. In this chamber, explosion takes place. Piston is pushed back. Piston reaches this point. There is a wall here. The moment piston reaches this point, this pressure is released. The moment the pressure is released, the spring force come in action. It goes again, it pushes. Now there is a wall here also. I mean, when the piston comes in this direction, the gases will release here, and at the same time the fuel is injected at that point. Okay, so I hope you have understood. Piston will move. Now the most important part in this assembly is this is called cylinder. This is cylinder, and this is called piston. I'm just drawing it just like that, but I hope you understand it. This is piston. Now, the outer diameter of the piston, OD, and inside the diameter of the cylinder, ID. Okay, ID and OD are going to be the most important parameters of that design. Do you understand this? Outside diameter of the piston and inside diameter of the cylinder are going to be the most important design parameters of this system. Now let us take ID, internal diameter of this cylinder is say 100 millimeter. Suppose we keep ID is 100 millimeter. Suppose we keep OD also 100 millimeter. And see, these are of steel. They are steel products. They are not plastic or something like that. So they are steel products because they have to last long. So if I keep 100 ID and 100 OD, first of all, will the system work? No. System will not work. Because, I mean, they are supposed to be moving against each other. Therefore, the piston must get inside the cylinder. If both of them are 100 and 100, first of all, it is not doable. It is not achievable, both 100 and 100. It might happen that inside diameter of the cylinder is 99.5 and outside diameter of piston is 100.5. They are useless pistons and cylinders. No use. Suppose I produce a cylinder having outside diameter 95 millimeters and piston cylinder having inside diameter 103 millimeter. So the gap is 8 millimeter. Of course they will go inside, but then will this pressure be created? No. I mean, if the diameter is less, then the extra pressure which is created will just leak and go out. It will not push the piston behind against the spring. Do you realize that? Therefore, if I am a design engineer, and if I am designing the piston and cylinder, I have to take several trials to decide and mention on the drawing what should be the inside diameter. That too, while writing, suppose now we are, these are wrong figures. So ID should be, let us say 101 millimeter, and OD of the piston should be say 98 millimeters. Okay. Here also I have to specify plus minus 1 millimeter. Here also I have to specify plus minus 1 millimeter. Now, suppose you order 1000 cylinders and 1000 pistons. Suppose you order. Then everyone is not going to be 101 as far as cylinder is concerned. Everyone is not going to be 98 as far as piston is concerned. All the cylinders put together will be between 100 to 102. All the pistons will be between 97 to 99. Do you understand? That is what is quality assurance. That is what is the checking of material which need to be performed before you receive that material in the industry. And in every case that engine should work. If you are lucky, असं झालं तर काय प्रॉब्लेम नाही. 101 ID वाला सिलेंडर आणि 99 OD वाला पिस्टन एकत्र आले तर 2 मिलीमीटरची गॅप आहे, ती बरोबर तिथे रबर गास्केट बुश वगैरे टाकून ती तेवढी बंद होते, कॉम्प्रेस होते, नो इश्यू. पण जर असं आलं 102 ID वाला सिलेंडर आणि 97 OD वाला पिस्टन असे जर असेंब्ली मध्ये एकत्र आले तर ते इंजिन तयारच होणार नाही. लक्षात येते का तुमच्या? त्यामुळे तुम्हाला while deciding this tolerance, while deciding, this is called tolerance. What is acceptable? How much you can tolerate? How much you can tolerate? If couple of windows video is off, yes, I can tolerate. But if there are 7 windows, last entire row is off, I cannot tolerate. I will remove Akash out of this meeting. अरे आकाश आलास का? कुठे गेला आकाश?
हो सर.
बघितलंस का व्हिडिओ लेक्चर? So what is the tolerance of your teacher? Tolerance plus minus, plus minus. And every individual, every machine will have tolerance. And now suppose, so next question in this piston cylinder game is, it is better to reduce the tolerance. Why should you give sir tolerance 1 millimeter? You make it 0.1 millimeter. Then almost all the 1000 pistons and cylinders that you will receive will be almost exact size. Then somebody will come, why 0.1 millimeter at least? You make it 0.01 millimeters. They should be identical. What will happen? If I keep on reducing the tolerance of the piston and cylinder, what will happen?
They will become identical.
Cost of manufacturing will go up drastically.
Cost of manufacturing will go very high. I mean, the supplier will say, okay, 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees for a piston, 2 lakh rupees for cylinder. That is one. And second, somebody who is manufacturing this piston and cylinder, he is using some machines and some instruments. It might be possible that beyond a particular level, you cannot measure. You cannot measure. आता तुम्ही काही एक्सपेरिमेंट्स वगैरे कराल काय माहिती नाही तुमच्या 11वी आणि 12वी मध्ये, बट देर आर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक बॅलन्सेस किंवा सार्ट्रोरियस नावाचा आमच्या वेळेला एक बॅलन्स होता, किंवा इफ यू गो टू ज्वेलरी शॉप देर इज अ glass casing, inside that there is a balance and very small weights, no window is open, wind problem is isolated, and then they measure. The accuracy there is 0.01 gram, 1 milligram. 1 milligram they can measure. But if you ask them to measure less than 1 milligram, does not make, I mean, they cannot measure. So the instrument that jewelers have for weight measurement has got some least count. They cannot measure below that. Suppose I want to measure the piston, outer diameter of the piston, I will use vernier caliper. Vernier caliper can measure length up to 0.1 millimeter, not more than that, accuracy. So tolerance is one part, but how much tolerance you can accept also depends on the list of the instruments. How much tolerance you can accept depends on the least count of the instrument. Now, if we start using two-pan balance that our grocery shop has in the jewelry shop, चालणार आहे का? In the grocery shop, the minimum least count of the balance is say 10 grams or 100, 10 grams. 100 grams is too much, 10 grams. Suppose the potato, which is say 40 rupees a kg, and if you get suppose 10 grams more or 10 grams less, does not matter. It is few paisa cost difference. But if you go to jewelry shop and with the balance that is in the grocery shop and ask jeweler to give me the jewelry, say 1 kg of jewelry plus minus 10 gram, no problem. He will say, plus minus 10 gram is 1 tola for me. It might not be anything for you, but 1 tola is a big amount. 30, 40, 50. आता तर लॉकडाऊन मध्ये तर मरणाचा मार्ग झाला होता. 10 grams of gold. So the weighing balance is important. Which weighing balance where? On the contrary, if the jeweler's weighing balance is available for weighing the potatoes, then you will go mad. If suppose you want 5 kgs of potatoes, how many times you have to weigh? You are not interested in the accuracy of potato weighing. लक्षात येते का? This is all about calculus. This is all about compromise. This is all about common sense, which we have to put into mathematical discipline and use it. That is what is going to be differential calculus. समजते तुम्हाला? I think these many examples will make it very clear that achieving something exact is impossible. So whenever I give you suggestion, I tell you, suppose you are at 30%, you try to solve one problem in the exam more than what you were solving and reach 33%, 35% next time. Suppose you say, no, I will get 35% exact next time. Even if I am getting more questions more than 35%, I will not solve. I will get exact 35. असं होणार नाहीये. होणार नाही. You will be in the range. You will be in the tolerance. And that is what we have to accept and go. Okay. So now in mathematical language, the tolerance of this piston and cylinder which I have shown in this diagram, this tolerance, we will not say it as a tolerance every time. We will say that the Greek letter, capital Greek letter epsilon. Epsilon is given to us. Customer will come and tell us that I want the product in this much accuracy. I want a cylinder of 100 millimeter inside diameter plus minus 0.1 millimeter. 0.1 is a real number and we will consider it as epsilon. So epsilon will be given by customer. Customer will tell me how much accuracy. You cannot do anything about the accuracy requirement. Once customer gives me the epsilon, I will see it, I will do the calculation. Suppose the first example, suppose I give you a tolerance of 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter radius I can give you for hitting that person. So tolerance is 1 centimeter, epsilon is 1 centimeter. That is what is given. Circle of 1 centimeter. Epsilon is 1. Then what will you do? Okay, you will do all the calculations, projectile motion, etc. Wind, सगळं calculate करत बसाल तुम्ही, and then you will arrive at what should be my least count of the protector that I am going to use. The protector is measuring 1 degree jumps, and you are required to adjust it at say 40.25 degree. Your gun should be at 40.25 degree to the horizontal as per your projectile motion calculations. Then your protector should be able to measure 0.45. Suppose your protector is measuring only 1 degree difference. Then how will you achieve 0.45? And you cannot say no, between 45 and 46 we will adjust somewhere and then shoot. You have to see so your accuracy of protector is the least count. So customer is giving me the epsilon and I calculate least count, which is delta. So what we are going to do now is this is given by customer, given to us. Then you calculate and arrive at, oh, okay, I am supposed to adjust angle 70 or 43.25, therefore plus minus 0.505. So this is plus minus 0.05 degree is my delta. So we will be now discussing in terms of epsilon and delta. Epsilon is given by the customer, delta is calculated by the designer. Okay, so before taking up any task, you do these calculations first. First thing, whether if you have those discount machines or measuring instruments or not, that you check. If you don't have, don't commit. You just say that this epsilon is not achievable, I cannot do it. But if you have got instruments, you figure out how much time it is going to take, how much rejection you will have, how many advanced machines you will require. You do this work and arrive at the cost of the product with the given epsilon. तुमच्या लक्षात येते का? So it is altogether a different game that we are going to play now. You give me epsilon, I give you delta. And if it is acceptable, then yes, things will happen, limit will exist. If no, things will not happen. Limit will not exist. Final result will not be achieved. Okay, इथपर्यंत सगळ्यांना मी काय बोलले, this is general background, why calculus. So now I pause video for some time, you just relax, think what I have said, and then we get into actual creating the notation by which we start understanding how to get into the mathematical calculations, mathematical definitions, mathematical notations to deal with this, and then we start dealing with the problems straight away. Okay, so I pause it because it otherwise becomes too long video. Now, what we are going to do is say process of manufacturing this piston. Raw material will go inside that manufacturing process and piston will come out. Suppose this is the box, this is the unit which demonstrates manufacturing of pistons. So what will go inside? Raw material. I mean, mild steel rod will go like this inside. Rod will go inside. So this goes inside. And what comes out? You get a piston. This is your output. which is coming out. Okay, so something is happening in this box which converts the raw material into the product. Now, the one who is going to buy this product has specified that yes, I want this 98 plus minus 1 millimeter. So he has given us epsilon. Epsilon is supplied by the customer. Okay, and this is a rod. Something is being done in this box for converting rod into a piston, and therefore there are measuring instruments which are going inside. Vernier caliper असेल, weighing machine असेल, अजून काय temperature measurement. So there are so many instruments which are going inside to create this outer diameter as per epsilon, and therefore these machines what are there inside will have delta, and we will represent this mathematically that something which is going inside is our x independent variable, something which is coming out is y our dependent variable, and what happens in this box is f. Therefore for us doesn't matter what manufacturing process is, we will write always y is equal to f of x. This is our function. Epsilon which is given is going to deal with y. Delta which is calculated, epsilon which is given, which is going to deal with y. Delta which is calculated will deal with x. That is how these things are going to work. Example.
सर डेल्टा एक्स चा असणार आहे की एफ चा असणार आहे?
X. F is a process. Say for example, तेच मी आता घेतलं. So y is equal to x is a function. Y is equal to f of x is equal to x. Geometrically, that function is this. Okay. Now I say I am interested in value of y which is equal to 5 plus minus 0.5. So I am okay with 4.5, I am okay with 5.5. And now another important, okay, what is epsilon here? Epsilon is equal to 0.5. Epsilon is always greater than 0. Simple. It is not greater than equal to 0. It is always greater than 0. No equality. Therefore, if your product is 4.5, it is not acceptable. It should be greater than 4.5. So basically meaning of this is 4.5 is less than y is less than 5.5. Or y belongs to 4.5. Y belongs to 4.5 to 5.5. That is the meaning of epsilon. Notation. Decided. No questions asked. Equality not allowed. Because equality will create some problems later on. So now if I want to achieve 5 plus minus 0.5 and the function is y is equal to x, I might as well supply x is equal to 5. Put x is equal to 5 plus minus 0.5. So if x is equal to little more than 4.5, you will get y little more than 4.5. Acceptable? If you put x little less than 5.5, you will get y little less than 5.5. Acceptable? Because the function is y is equal to x. Samajhte? But if function is y is equal to 2x, then the graph is like this. And you want y is equal to 5 plus minus 0.5. 5 plus minus your acceptable Y value is this much from year to year. Then corresponding acceptable value of X किती असणार आहे कॅल्क्युलेट करायला लागेल if y is equal to 2x x is equal to y by 2 correct so if x is equal to 5.5 y is equal to 5.5 upon 2 if x is equal to 4.5 y is equal to 4.5 upon 2 so x must be between 4.5 upon 2 and 5.5 upon 2 then you will get y between 5 and 5.5 5 plus minus 5.5 do you understand this therefore it depends on what function you are dealing with if it is a constant function y is equal to 5 so it's a constant function still you want 5 plus minus 0.5 okay you take any x you will be within 5 you take any x you will be between 5.5 and 4.5 easy delta is any real number positive real number delta is also supposed to be always positive to avoid confusion epsilon and delta both must be positive real number but then this is little later I am just showing you because you have asked me this is later little later customer will provide you epsilon you are supposed to find out the delta by doing your manual calculations and that is what is estimating the least count given the tolerance but that is little later we have to develop the notation first okay but have you understood what I am trying to say is and that function need not be the length function every time it need not be the length function every time I am not sure whether I have given you the example of aluminum ring that I used to manufacture before joining this teaching सांगितले का पूर्वी स्टोरी कधी aluminum
No, sir.
okay the story is we were supposed to manufacture an aluminum ring which used to look like this okay and it is threaded from inside okay now I don't know whether I am drawing it correct or it's like a dhakkan but big 600 millimeter dia and maybe 10 millimeter thick the thickness of this is 10 millimeter of that ring okay we produced that ring using method called sand casting molten aluminum is supposed to be poured into the mold created out of sand and after cooling you will get this and then you are required to do machining etc so this was 600 millimeter diameter inside diameter let us say inside diameter with thickness 10 millimeter outside diameter would go around 620 millimeter okay that was the specification given by the customer and supposed to do these machines and send it to Canada okay so we did our trials on sand casting we did not achieve results therefore we produced metallic molds every time sand casting used to give us different dimension which we were not happy about therefore we created metallic molds when we pour the molten aluminum in those metallic molds you will after some time it will become cold and you will get the ring out of it that was the machine process if you happen to see some foundry somewhere you can find out how that process is there but aluminum is supposed to be molten and it is to be poured in a die or a mold and after cooling you will get the ring out of it okay so we did all the trials we got those dimensions because that product was to be approved Therefore, I produced say first 10 rings, sent it to Canada. They got approved, acceptable, and they gave us the order of producing say 1,000 rings like that. Okay, so producing 1,000 ring was a task, and we have to do it very fast. Therefore, the way we produced first 10 rings, it was a huge time, and 1 day per ring, 1 ring per day, like that. And I mean, 1,000 days, we cannot wait 3 years, 4 years for producing 1,000 rings. Therefore, we had to automate the procedure, and therefore we used the same molds but automated them. Pouring was done quickly, dismantling of that mold was done quickly, etc. And then after that, when we took first trial, we realized that in the same mold we had produced 600 and 620, 600 ID and 620 OD ring in the same mold. When we automized the process, we were getting the ID 610 and OD 630, 10 millimeter difference. Entire mold was same. The molten aluminum was same. Machine was same. Except the difference which we made was earlier we produced 1 ring per day. Now we were supposed to produce at least 30, 40, 50 rings per day. So we automated the procedure. So the time required to get the 1 ring out earlier was very high. Now it is very low. I mean, see, if there is a 10 millimeter difference in the product, nobody is going to accept it, because the job that ring was supposed to do will not be done if the dimensions are not as per requirement. Forget about epsilon. I was not maintaining the original dimension also. It was way beyond epsilon. So that was not acceptable.